Okay, morning everybody. Morning, Anne.
Morning, Melanie.
You might see our fearless leader here today in her Melbourne Cup outfit.
Yes, so when Melanie and I, of course, planned this weeks and weeks ago, we weren't thinking about it being Melbourne Cup Day today. So thank you everyone who has joined us. We did send out and say to everyone, wear your hat. So I have brought some spares for anyone that hasn't got one. So Melanie, which one would you like?
I have a big hat.
Okay, you can have a big hat, and I still have one here for anyone else. That if you don't have a hat, then grab a hat and let's have a bit of fun. So just to start now, because you got people who've all been with us before and you've probably had some of my newsletters and all of our really bad jokes. So we're into a bit of fun around here. So to start off for our Melbourne Cup Day jokes we have, but we will get to everything else about what's happening and the updates of what we're going for as well. But okay, I put a bet on a horse to come in at 10-1 and it did. Unfortunately, all the others came in at 12:30.
Oh, that's bad. I think we should get on with the content. Everybody might leave.
They might leave, so don't leave. Yes, we have great updates coming up. Okay.
Maybe tell one more at the end.
All right, I've got some more.
Clear the room. Welcome back, everybody. And now this particular webinar was invitation only, and it's only for companies that we've already started talking to or working with, or some of you are quite a long way down the process. But there's a few things going on and thought she would like to update you. So yeah, sorry about the Melbourne Cup Day thing, but thank you for coming anyway. That's quite remarkable. So just quickly, for those of you that haven't been on a webinar, because I know we have some companies here who are working with us, but they didn't come through the previous webinar. So Anne is the owner of Global Training Institute. Did you just want to introduce yourself and the college, Anne?
Yeah, so we've been around. So this is my husband, Shane. So Shane and I have owned the company for the last 16 years. So we started it. Yeah, I thought we had a brainwave, but anyway, so that was kind of 16 years ago. We've been around. So we've got, look, over 40 staff now. Our team are just fabulous. The trainers are so passionate. Everybody's just great to work with. They are based in their office and outside around Australia. So we've got basically over 1,000 students currently around Australia that we're working with. We've been online, but online doesn't mean alone. So because it means that all of the students have sessions with their trainers over the phone. We Zoom in for companies, so our trainers still present to company groups and things. And we have even Zoom days on Tuesdays and Thursdays where the students all jump in and there's trainers available in Zoom rooms so they can actually ask.
So you didn't just go online when the pandemic happened?
No.
You've actually had a whole process for delivering remotely for a long time.
Yeah, so we've been delivering online for the last 12 years because we came out of a construction were our sort of basic students 12 years ago, and they kept shipping all over the country. So we decided that we were staying put and we would just put it all online and talk to them over the phone. So yeah, our processes were there. Because we have such a high support rate, we've got a really high completion rate with our students. The students really just feel so much supported. So where we've sort of got like over 70% completion rate, the average is sort of around 40 for face-to-face
and a lot less for online.
A lot less for online. So yeah, so our processes have been developed over the years, really simple, based on everyone's work-based processes and procedures and systems. So yeah, so it's sort of very practical assessments, which we write ourselves. Yeah, and it does come with 100% money get back guarantee. So
so a couple of just quick housekeeping things before we go on. Oh, thank you. Carol's just said she can see and hear us, but she doesn't have a speaker. Yes, so I should have actually said that at the start. So for questions, because this is an update, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the chat in the Q&A. But what we might do is we'll answer them at the end.
Yeah.
So pop them in the chat as you're going, so you don't forget them. And then if we haven't covered them, we'll make sure we cover them at the end. We've only got a dozen or so slides. We shouldn't need to keep you for that long.
No, looking at it being fairly smooth. And you will be able to make appointments at the end. If you need individual specific things, let's just hook you back up with either your account manager or Melanie and I are happy to answer individual questions as well privately.
Okay. So if anybody, we've got a reasonable turnout considering it's Cup Day. If you've got any specific questions, or if you'd like to put in the chat what state you're in, as in location, not at the races drinking cocktails, then pop that in and we'll make sure that we cover, we talk specifically to your situation as well. But as Anne said, she'll do individual conversations.
Yeah, we'll do individual. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, because been lots of updates.
Lots of things going on. What are we going to cover?
Okay, good news and some slightly not quite so good news.
You can't say bad news, can you?
No, it's just not in my, no, I don't like anything bad. So if there's bad, we have ways around it. We will work towards it.
But there are some limitations now which people need to be aware of.
Yes. Okay, so we're looking, so the federal government wage subsidy, yes, it still does exist. But there's a few roadblocks ahead and a few opportunities, and you can definitely still able to claim up to $28,000 per eligible employee who participates in the professional development with us.
Okay, so specifically there's like what, 5 topics on the agenda?
Yes. Okay, so we'll look at the approvals that we've got in so far to give you sort of the range of states and the range of qualifications. We've definitely got lots of opportunities in new workers.
And there's probably more opportunities there than we initially realised.
Yeah, there are, yes.
However,
okay, the existing worker restrictions, we said that they may come in, and yes, they are arriving thick and fast. So we will cover those today and ways to minimise those. Supervision and resource requirements, government is cracking down on these, so we'll cover those. Delayed starts, so that you can still access the program, but if it doesn't suit you, we'll cover that as well. And definitely, how do you ensure that you don't miss out? Because there is definitely potential of people missing out if they're not moving fast enough.
Okay, so first one, let's talk about approvals so far. What's been about?
So, all right, so these are some of the clients that we got through. So we usually show you these sorts of pieces of paper. These are what we get in after the apprenticeship people have been. So what I've just done is listed the fact that, yes, here at Global Training, we have got approvals through in all states. We've got new and existing workers that we're working with, and part-time and full-time traineeships as well. And keep in mind part-time, because we'll be covering that with the existing. So these are just some of the companies. Some of them we've actually marketed to. Many of them have been given to us from the apprenticeship centres as well, and had heard our name being recommended and sent us those. So if you happen to range from being a builder through to a financial planner to a NDIS organisation, yeah, or a local council.
Even a trade union.
Even the electrical trade union. I was really surprised when that one came in, but yes. Yeah, so residential colleges. So we've had all of these sorts of companies that have all had people approved with us, rather new and or existing. So yeah, it fits everybody.
All right, so let's talk about the new worker opportunities, especially for, we've got some people here from New South Wales.
Okay, cool.
And Queensland and others, but coming out of lockdown particularly.
Yes. Okay, so coming out of lockdown, if you have hired anyone since August this year.
So why August?
Okay, August, because you have to register them within your first 90 days. And so, yeah, so if anyone you've registered, employed since August, September, October, and sort of started November now, talk to us very quickly and let's get them on the program. And
there's a whole range of courses they can do.
There's sort of over 14 courses. We'll show you those in a second. Okay, anyone that you are looking to hire between now and the end of March next year, definitely look at getting them put on. Talk to them about, they're happy to undertake a program of a course with you in their first 12 months.
Because one of the extra little rules or whatever upon it that's been added to the wage subsidy program is that the employer now has to sign something to say, I have not coerced or directed this person to do this traineeship to get the subsidy.
Yes.
So the training's got to be genuine, and it's got to be something that you want them to do for your business needs, not just for the money.
Yeah.
So new worker, make sure you find something that's actually really genuinely relevant and useful to you.
To you, yes. So yes, that was one of the things that Shane had to put up a letter the other day that he hadn't seen before, declaring this when he asked for the wage for these pay slips.
Okay, other new worker opportunities. What about this one?
Okay, anyone that already hired but have been full-time or less than 90 days or part-time less than 12 months.
So that's any part-timer you've hired since November last year, basically.
Yeah.
And they're eligible for the big range of courses as a new worker.
And there's some things I think coming up now about looking at if you've put off people during COVID and brought them back on again as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so casuals being upgraded from part-time to full-time, so keep those in mind. They are classed as new workers. Part-time being, doesn't matter how long they've been there with you. So yeah, keep these sorts of things in mind. Again, you can talk to us individually about these. The last two aren't for free, but that's okay. The incentives, but because the wage, but you still get the wage subsidy.
And actually, that's an important distinction, isn't it? That for if you've upgraded your long-term casuals or your long-term part-timers, you can still get the wage subsidy. You just don't get a free course for them.
Yes.
And so you'll get a letter back saying you've been declined for the incentives, which then everybody freaks out about. But that just means you've been declined for the free course and the extra $4,000 from the state. But you still will get the wage subsidy.
Yes.
You can explain that individually to people.
Yes. So if you get letters from them when your approval's coming through, you might have got something that says you're approved, but then you'll get this other really weird letter from a government department. Don't panic. Just give us a call because it's one of these things that pumps out automatically.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, coming out of lockdown, everybody is looking at bringing on people or bringing people back in. So on SEEK, 6 weeks ago, from 6 weeks ago, there is 44,000 extra people applying, at jobs that's being advertised. A lot of them will be Vic, Melbourne and New South Wales as they start to open up. I was talking to an owner yesterday. He said he had to put everybody off during COVID, and he's certainly looking at putting on new people between now and March.
And I was reading this morning a press release from SEEK, and they said that they've got 250,000 jobs currently being advertised, of which 40% are in hospitality.
Right.
So if you are in hospitality, you're going to need to do something to be the one to attract those employees.
Yeah, and being able to offer people a qualification, and instead of casual work, have a look at putting them on part-time or full-time with this wage subsidy. That will really help you to stand out. But keep in mind that the employees do love getting qualifications, and they do like upskilling because there's so many advantages for them. Just simply, very quickly, they aren't the last on, first off scenario, because you'll keep them for at least 12 months. There is the professional development for them. They'll get to know about you. And we just get pages and pages from all of our students that just saying how much they enjoy interacting with the trainers and learning new things.
And realistically, right now in some areas, you're going to have to develop skills in people yourself. You're not going to be able to necessarily buy them ready-made. So this is an opportunity to do that without being out of pocket. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay,
so really look at and with the dollars, so we've got some ideas coming up here now as well,
ways that you can actually
maximize this, and you'll be able to juggle people around in your workplaces and everything as well. So really think hard about this. Happy enough if you want to call in and we'll brainstorm with you as well. But if you've got any for part-timers, you can make them full-time for the 12 months, and the wage would stay the same.
So you're basically paying half wages full-time versus full wages part-time.
Yeah, and so you can get those extra hours out of them. So if you're looking for people and find them, look at if you've got any part-timers that are happy to move up for some extra hours. If you have casuals, you can make them part-time and half the wages bill. So yeah, and keep in mind that your casuals on your IR stuff, I say to everybody, look, are they really going to be casuals or are they actually going to be part-time?
Are you going to end up having to back pay and stuff?
Yeah. Because if they do anything with your IP, if they know things that are needed to run your business, then they're actually basically part-timers rather than casuals.
And then this third one is something that you've been doing. And
we've been doing a lot. Yeah. So if you're hiring one person, hire a second on a 12-month contract, and the cost will be the same as if you hired one person, and you get extra projects done.
It sounds a bit weird talking about humans like that, isn't it? But it's like two for the price of one.
Well, we've definitely been using it here and just getting lots of extra things done.
Okay.
But keep in mind, it is a wage rebate, not you don't only pay half. You've actually got to be able to pay the full wage, and then the government will rebate you up to $7,000 for that person.
So you do need to think about your cash flow, because they're quite slow with their rebates at the moment.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you can afford those two people until you get refunded the difference.
Yeah. Or put on one now and put on one in 3 months' time. But the advertising, and then because there are people that are wanting to start in a few months' time as well.
Start after the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, start after Christmas holidays. So yeah, we've got a friend that's just got an first accounting thing, and he got the job last week and is going to start with an accounting firm beginning of February.
Right. Which is probably happy he gets a break.
Yeah, so he gets a break. They're getting ready in their new year projects. So yeah, that sort of thing is common out there at the moment. Okay, now rehiring anyone that you've stood down staff after 6 months. So if they've had a 6-month break, then
they're a new worker.
They're a new worker. If they were a new worker with you under 3 months and took because COVID either had to go down, you didn't finish your inductions and things like that. We have definitely got people of that being approved to come back in. Again, that's an individual discussion with the apprenticeship people.
But if they've done less than 90 days working with you in total, like they worked and then you stood them down and now you're bringing them back, then the apprenticeship centres are being quite kind to people in terms of approving those.
They have been, but again, so it's just been an individual case by case basis for those, but we have had some approved.
So that's the good news. Now let's talk about the stuff that's getting a bit harder.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, before we do.
Okay, so for your new employees, anyone that you're bringing on, keep these sorts of things in mind. There's business, project management practice, entrepreneurship, leadership management, civil construction, HR. So just depending on the state, the things vary. Diploma of business is in most states, diploma of leadership management is in every state. And when you talk to us, we'll actually have some combinations that go with that as well.
And if you're in WA, you've got a few certificate fours, but the only diploma you've got
is the leadership management, but we do it with a business, and we've got some other combinations just for Western Australia people that we're looking after you there as well. So yeah, keep in mind these ones. If you're in New South Wales, really look at it, putting on new people, because yours are free. We say thank you very much to New South Wales government. And we're sponsoring all of these ones free for the people. Means you get to keep your $28,000 wage rebate there for those.
Okay, so let's talk about existing workers.
Okay, this is where the government is again really looking. So where they squeezed it down to being only a few things on their appendix for the existing workers, we have been saying all along that at any stage this could change. So at any stage the government are really squeezing this down at the moment. So my very quick suggestion is open your ears to this now, get in very super quick, because we can't promise when or what they're going to be doing.
It wouldn't surprise, because there has been a lot of people abusing the workplace health and safety one, because it's for existing workers and people are going, oh, my entire business needs to do it. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually ended up removing that from the approved list at all. Yeah. But at the moment it's still there.
It is still there.
We'll explain to you what the criteria are to do it.
So yes, so be keeping in mind, so all we can say is if you're interested, get in now, get in fast and work with us. And very closely.
No guarantees that you'll get it, but
no guarantees.
Work with you to figure out whether you can.
Yes. Okay, so definitely civil construction is still fine. So leading hand supervisors, project managers and above, yeah, they're all going still fine. Okay, so let's talk some workplace health and safety. Okay, it is on the government's hit list. They are looking at talking to people to make sure that they are legitimate people that are involved in safety. And it's safety for others. So all is good still that you can be working full-time or part-time in WHS. So if you are a supervisor of other people with workplace health and safety responsibilities, then yes. So in some of the states you have to provide a letter to go with this.
And you would be signing up, even though they're a full-time employee, you'd be signing up for a part-time traineeship,
yes,
because they do not have full-time WHS duties. That you still get the 50% wage subsidy for what you pay them, but the traineeship itself is
a class as a part-time. So this is going to be a big change that we're looking at to really looking at with you for some of the roles and responsibilities. So keep in mind that if your people, especially, so you basically will need to be supervisors or the HR person that does it or the business admin person that looks at it. So we look at things like that you're responsible for keeping other people safe and risk-free. So some of the big things that you will need is that the COVID things all come under WHS. And so under COVID and our risk matrices and our COVID safe plans.
And we've got a bit of a list on the next slide actually of some of the job duties that might be.
Yes. So in that, if we got somewhere about the next one up about Victoria's bills and things for COVID.
That's on the next page.
All right, okay. So in Queensland, okay, so we'll cover Queensland at the moment. You're going to need a letter outlining the duties that your people do. We have got some templates of letters here that we've got and duties. So we can provide any employer with duties to keep it just allows you to brainstorm and things. So some of the ones we've got there, you're keeping other people safe. You're applying hierarchies of controls for workplace risk. Okay, yeah. You can be implementing risk management matrices for COVID and other business risks. So, and we'll cover the fines and things for that coming up. If you are identifying, recording and reporting hazards, accidents, injuries and health issues. So you may not think about these in your general, when thinking about Sally might does something or other, but she also does all of this stuff. And if Sally does this stuff for sort of more than 15 hours a week, or 15 to 21, depending on the state, then yeah, definitely be looking and talking to us about these sorts of things.
So basically, we'll give you some documents, but then you as the employer need to be able to write a genuine letter to the state government in Queensland, and it may come in the other states, to say my person actually needs to do workplace health and safety for these reasons, and these are their duties. And if they don't have any safety duties, you shouldn't be putting them on workplace health and safety.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. You're just going to have to look at your new staff. But have a think about it, because often some of your people will be responsible for these things. So in Queensland, so in Queensland, everybody now must have a WHA person who's a WHOSO.
And WHOSOs have to have Cert 4 these days.
And so WHOSOs have to have Cert 4. So if your employees want someone to represent them for safety, then you need a WHOSO, which is a Cert 4 in WHS. So if you're in Queensland, although there's letters and everything extra, every workplace
is required to have one.
Is basically required to have one. So it's a great opportunity for you if you're in Queensland. The other ones, really look at your supervisors and things. Every business is basically going to have to be able to implement. And if you don't know what a hierarchy of controls in a risk matrix and quantifiable data and all of these risk assessments, then definitely be talking with us, because your business needs one of those too, because we have to prove and justify how we have implemented our WHS and all of our COVID safe plans as well.
And of course.
Okay, yes. So if you happen to be in Victoria, now the other states, fines are going up, but in Victoria, it is going through Parliament at the moment, was lodged on Tuesday, Wednesday last week. It will take a couple of weeks to come out, but the rules for breaking COVID fine, for businesses not implementing all of their COVID safety plans and things, which all come under WHS, $455,000.
Right.
And I don't have $455,000. So I would definitely be finding somebody to be getting in here.
And making sure you cover, because it's all the risk assessment stuff.
It's all the risk assessments. They want quantifiable data. They want hierarchies of controls. They want risk assessments done in our COVID plans and things, and let alone all of the mental health ones, as well as our normal.
And working from home as well.
Working from home, as well as just the normal WHS things.
Now, if anyone's got any questions about this, just drop them in the chat and we will make sure we answer you before we finish. So I'll just pop back to that next slide, which was so these are some of the things that you might have on your letter explaining the stuff that your people need to do. Yeah,
or some of the things that you just think about, because as to things, but people need to be doing sort of 15 to 21 hours a week. In these sorts of supervisory roles, watching safety related stuff, but they can be supervising, while you're supervising the building construction site being built and everything, you are definitely there watching safety as well.
Actually, that was one of the apprenticeship centres said to us last week, wasn't it? If someone says a supervisor in manufacturing or construction, you could say that 100% of their job is supervising safety. But we have to be sensible about this. So, you can't put 30 bartenders from the local pub on or something like that.
Yeah, because you've got to be looking after the responsibility, the safety of other people, not yourself, unless you are writing policies and procedures all the time. But keep in mind that part-time, you can do it as a part-time traineeship, but you still get paid half the way. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, now that leads on to the other tricky bit for workplace health and safety. Well, this is for all traineeships,
yes,
but workplace health and safety is probably tricky because if you don't have anyone who's got these skills, that's where it's going to make life hard. Yeah. So let's talk through that.
Okay, each state's got different documents, but the same principles. So you are going to be having to do phone or Zoom calls to look at those sorts of things. Yeah.
So do you want to just explain to us what you mean by supervision requirements? What's needed?
Okay, so in each of the states, it will be different depending what the person is. So in some of them, they will want you to have direct face-to-face abilities with the person for looking after and things. They could be just general meetings.
So basically means if you're training somebody, there's got to be someone in their workplace who's already got those skills.
Yes. So somebody has to either have the skills or the qualification for being the supervisor, and then they have supervision requirements of meetings with the people and who's going to be watching them and helping them through working through their assessments and things. So Yes, if they haven't, we are happy to be talking with you. If you haven't got somebody with the Cert 4 in WHS in your workplace, then we're happy to look at discuss with you who your supervisor would be and look at what skills that they already understand about risk assessments and your policies and procedures that you've got.
Because they don't have to have, they either have to have the qualification, or we have to sort of confirm that they've got competence in the different subjects.
Yeah,
basically.
in the different subjects. So again, talk to us. There isn't many businesses that we haven't been able to help and sort out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, so we just do need to work with you. So again, after you're identifying your people, we just need to have some more individual chats with you before you waste your time going for a sign up if it's not going to work, or be prepared if it is going to work.
And we need to make sure that the people can get, and this is for all of the courses, not just safety, that they can get some practical experience at the stuff that they're learning.
Yes.
Which is how the courses are structured anyway, isn't it?
There are. So yes, so your people will be writing in safety risk matrices, looking at hierarchies of control, doing risk assessments in your workplace and things, and just looking at making sure it's all up to speed with what you've got to do.
And if they're doing something like a certificate for in business, then they will still do workplace related projects.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still going to be writing checklists and systems, and you might suddenly not have to open up in the morning because they can write you a checklist as to what actually has to happen before.
That would be nice.
Yes, get in, and everybody else can take responsibility for it. So we'll teach them all sorts of different things. So it will be very practical things that they will learn new skills for.
Okay, and then we just got a couple more things to cover, and then if anyone's got questions, they can do them. So we were talking about delayed starts the other day. Do you want to explain what we mean?
Yeah, okay. So if you're not ready to get going yet, because in this webinar, we're talking to lots of business owners that we've been talking with over the last 3-4 months.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, people.
Come on, people. Okay, so if you're not ready to get going yet, there'll be a couple of reasons. Yeah, so if you've been managing lockdown and a lot of people are now just sort of coming back out of it and going, oh, I'm starting to get ready now, Anne. Okay, and that's fine, that's great. But yeah.
And also if you've got new staff, you don't necessarily want to hire them, sign them on in week 1, because what if
they don't work? Yeah. So we've got ways to be working around this as well. Okay, so for your new workers, you've got 3 months to sign them after their employment date, and 3 months for them to start their course. So you can, before, I don't know, you're worried about probation periods and things, but you can actually sign them up, and then they've got another probation period here. So it's not, if you work out on the last day, it's not going to work for them, that's okay.
So you could sign them up inside, because you have to sign them up within the first 3 months.
Yes.
You could sign them up, but then you could delay your start till after the end of their probation period. So it's basically like, yes, you're signed up, so we know we can get the wage subsidy and all that sort of thing, but we're not going to start the course for another 3 months. So we make sure that they're okay before we do it.
Yeah, and that way they've had time just to learn to settle into their new job. Yeah, it is already November, and yeah, for anyone celebrating Movember, yes, we are aware, and we've got quite a few modes will be starting to be grown around our business for
not
this
ours.
month. No, not mine. We're too busy wearing hats here, but the blokes are all into supporting Movember there. If you want to sign up your people before Christmas to get them registered and then start after your course in the new year, fully well supporting of that. So there is, because we've got 3 months that we can start them, but I would definitely be looking in, if you can, just to get them in and registered, because of the timelines that people are taking to get all of that sort of thing processing done now.
Okay. Now we do have a couple of questions which are relevant to what we're talking about now, so we might just pop them in right at this minute. Oh, I've just been bumped out of that meeting, sorry. So first one is from Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Amy says, does this apply for administrative certificates? Can a trainee report to a manager who isn't an administrator but has administrative skills?
Yes.
For example, we're a small church who'd like to put on an admin trainee reporting to the Reverend Minister.
Yes, so generally speaking, yes. So we would just need to have a quick chat with the Reverend Minister and to make sure that he's got some skills, but generally speaking, that would be fine. He won't have to have the qualification.
So that's one of our responsibilities now, is, or what has been, is that we have to look and go, do they have this qualification? If they don't, can we verify that they've got the skills? And as long as we can do that, it's fine.
Yeah, and we will have a chat with them.
And actually, Richard's got a question as well. And it's a similar question. Does the supervisor have to have the certificate for, or can they have higher qualifications?
Okay, so they can have higher qualifications, because that will then come under the higher qualification, and we back it with the knowledge and the skills.
Yeah, so it's certificate for or above.
Above, yes.
Okay, one more question. if the employee, and this is an important question actually, but probably not for the reasons that you think, if an employee prefers to fast track their course and complete 12 months worth in the first 3 months, can they do so?
Okay. Yes, they can, but
Should they?
your wage subsidy will only last for as long as the person is on the course. So if you're happy to get a 3-month wage subsidy, then they will finish that.
And it may not be possible to do the whole course in 3 months as well, just from the quality of training
learning.
point of view. But if they can, if they're very highly skilled.
Yes, so let's talk 6 months or so. Yes, then yes, you can have a shorter period if they are, that they have got highly skills, and we would be noting that at the beginning. So you would need to tell us at the beginning that they've already got some good skills, so that we need to put that into their training plan when we discuss that with you.
But your wage subsidy will stop when they finish.
Your wage subsidy will stop.
And we have, I think it's 10 days or something after they finish the course, so we have to notify the department they're finished, so it will get stopped. Good question, so. Okay. Let's just go to this last little bit. So just a little reminder, I know most people know this already, but you just might want to remind them.
Yeah, so look, it is no risk to you, especially if the waiting times are getting pushed out for approvals from the government departments now. You don't pay us anything until your people have been approved by the apprenticeship mob and your wage subsidy, and that they're enrolled. So you're not going to be paying us money and then sitting there waiting. Am I going to be approved for all of this? No, so we will do the paperwork with you, so that once it finally does get approved, then we can be pushing that through and get them onto their course as soon as possible. We also have we have the lovely lady here in the office who is talking to the ASINs, the apprenticeship mob, all of the time, and hassling them. And because
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Well, we're getting them through a lot faster than a lot of the other people's aren't, so than other companies aren't, and things if you just work on your own. So yeah, we have got processes and trying to keep it flowing as fast as we can for approvals to go through.
Now we've got a question from Carol. Can the business owner do a course?
Okay, generally speaking, no, because you have to be an employee, and it's a program put on from the government to boost, as employers, boost people coming through and employing people.
So you've got, so if you're a director or a major shareholder, then no.
No, or a major influence decision maker in the company, so no. What a lot of them are doing though is that they are using this by, if you're putting on a few people, because you can have spare dollars left over in your wage subsidy. We're having a lot of HR people and owners do courses themselves and paying for it, and out of the money that they will be getting back. So I've got a lot of owners coming on, but it is separate. They're not signing up as traineeships. So I'm kind of dealing with owner here, employees here, money left over from the employees. Will be paying for the owner's course.
So you're going to have some surplus money out of the wage subsidy. You can use that for
So I've got a lot of business owners coming on doing quality auditing, diploma of quality auditing with us, advanced diploma of leadership and management, advanced diploma of business.
So things that are not eligible for this program, but it's a chance to have a training budget that you would.
Yeah, they're having a training budget. A lot of councils are suddenly going, great, and I've only got a training budget, and they're putting on other people into other courses that aren't on this lot as well. They're doing some local government things and things with us, and looking at, I can, I'll put this person on over here that aren't in workplace health and safety, because we've been able to, with these new employees, keep some spare dollars. So yeah, there's some cool things happening.
Where's we from here? Just quickly last steps, and I see we've got one more question, but we'll just quickly.
Okay, all right. So how to make all of this work is our magical Google sheet. So it's a very simple document that allows us to track where you are up to, where your thinking is up to, where your people are up to. So if you don't already have a Google sheet, it allows us to both type on it at the same time. We just open it up and communicate together. We know where we're up to, and following this whole process through. So if you don't already have your Google sheet from us, quickly let us know and we can send that to you and we can start talking with you.
And the purpose of the Google sheet is why do people want a Google sheet?
The Google sheet communicates between you and us as to which of the stages that you have to follow through.
So you can fill in all your people that you're thinking of putting on a course, and we can work out who'd be eligible and
who's not. Yeah, we can track who's got a letter, who hasn't, who's got job roles, who hasn't, who's been approved, who hasn't, what forms are in, what's not, what training's organised. and different things. So, and we will give you your own account manager. So if you don't know who your account manager is or at the moment haven't got one, let us know and we will give you somebody who will work through individually with you.
Okay, so if you don't have it, we need to set it up.
Yes.
If you have already got it, because some people on the call I know already have it.
Then yeah, give us a call, and so that we can book a time in to individually chat with you again now to plan out between now and Christmas what we can get done and things, so that the new year's, because yeah, I have no idea if what changes the government are going to do in the new year, or as it gets more and more popular towards the end, the timing.
And if you've got people who are still going, oh, I don't know if I want to upskill my people and get money, then what should they do if they're still not sure?
Have a look at some of the sample assessments. So we've got an access into our student portal, so you can have a look at it from a business owners, a HR point of view as to what are your people going to be doing? What are the assessments? Will this benefit my business? And we've got some samples in there that you can go on and see how they'll be actually using your policies, procedures and systems in their assessments. We've got graduation coming up on the 19th of this month, a couple of Thursday nights time. Feel free to come and join us for the night.
It's virtual graduation.
It is, it's online, yes. So
people want to come, how do they come?
Okay, so just again, send us a quick email to Wage Subsidy and we will send you an invite for that. It's a really cool night. You'll get to meet our trainers and just see how passionate they are. You'll hear stories of the students that we work with. You'll meet some of the students, they send videos and photos and everything in. So yeah, it's a really fun night, and the team, all the staff here eat the cake. So we still have graduation cakes, we have graduation hats, we have a lot of fun because the students are all over Australia.
So if someone just wanted to log in and just watch a little part of it, they could do that?
Absolutely. We've also got some video from footage from a couple of the others, because we run 3 graduations a year. And so we've got some from the other 2. You just really get a feel for us as a company, but really get to know the trainers and sort of the students and what your people might, feel like when they're part of the program as well. And again, as I said, book a time into my diary.
So how do people do that?
Okay, so that is just jump online onto our website, and you'll sign at the top, make a booking.
So you go to globaltraining.edu.au and there's a make a booking thing up
the top there. Yep.
And click on that and choose Anne.
Yep, you can choose Anne or your own, or your own account manager, and book a time so we can individually chat and make sure you've got a sheet, and we can also be starting to work through the process, because you've been on this webinar with us today means you already had expressed interest with us in the past. So we're down to individually chatting with you now.
Okay, so we've got a few questions.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll wrap up. So Mary Arthur says, we have staff who are casuals. If we make them permanent, when do they start claiming the subsidy?
Okay.
From when you make them permanent. Basically.
Yeah, so basically from when you make them permanent. So yes, and then if you're making it permanent either part-time or full-time, from that date, at the end of each quarter, if the process is still the same, you pop up the wage slips for that quarter for the person. And there will also be a letter, a little declaration now that Shane had to put in to say that, yeah, he wasn't doing it just for the wage subsidy.
He did actually want them to get some skills.
He wanted them to get some skills.
And so the sequence for that is that basically you, when you have your apprenticeship centre meeting, you have to show them that you've turned them from casuals into part-time or full-time. Doesn't have to be permanent, it could be on a 12-month contract. Yes. And then you show that to the apprenticeship centre, and then you say to them, I want it to start from this date. So I want it to start from 3 weeks ago when they became permanent, or I want to start from today when they're becoming permanent, or 6 weeks time, or whatever. You can tell them the date that you want it to start. Okay, now we've got a bunch of people who would like a Google sheet. So I will grab if people have popped their email addresses in the chat, I'll grab those email addresses from you, and I'll make sure that the right people get them. And Amy would like to book in a call. Amy, oh yeah, I got your email address, that's fine. Question also from Amy, if you're looking to start this with a new employee you're yet to hire, what's the deadline to hire them? Okay, deadline to hire is, well, probably come back a week before the 30th of March next year. Yeah, more than a week. More than a week, because you're going to have to apply them, and then we've got to get them in and get them registered with the apprenticeship centre before the 30th of March. Yeah, and they are going to, there's already about a month delay for a lot of the apprenticeship centres. They're going to be flat out in March. They are. So, yeah, your deadline is the end of March, but I would not leave it to last minute, says she, who always leaves things. Because everybody else is going to be on last minute as well. Yeah. And because
The program has been just spiraling from, as if people are getting their wage subsidies back, they're telling their other friends.
Yeah.
The accountants are starting to tell their people. The recruitment agencies are starting to tell all their people.
At the beginning, people were like, oh, I don't know, I want to wait and see if
Yeah,
it's a real
is
thing.
it real? Is it real? Well, yeah, they're all discovering that yes, it's real, and everybody's going, oh gosh,
Yeah.
actually, am I going to be missing out?
Now that people actually know people who've got money in their bank account, and of course people
And
trained,
are on the course,
then
and
they're
everything.
like, oh, okay, perhaps we better do it. So they're definitely, the numbers are growing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting because they made another 170,000 places available. 3 months ago, they were up to 135,000. And I know they've said it's uncapped, but who knows? Government changes their mind like the weather at the moment, so we shall see. So yeah, you do have till March, but sooner the better, probably so.
Sooner the better. Now, as we mentioned before, if you don't want to think, if your head can't think about training people till next year, that's perfectly fine. Let's just get the paperwork done.
Yeah.
Get your Google sheet operating. We can be doing even putting it in line, start the process,
and then to start training for 3 months.
Yeah, and then we'll look at the training, because the training is the most important thing. But however, we are aware of what things are like Christmas.
But you can schedule it.
Oh, absolutely.
The training, as long as you've got it planned, it doesn't. You've got some flexibility in when you start. Now, question from Carol, and this might tie into what you're talking about with the business owner being able to use the surplus funds.
Yeah.
And I think this is the last question, but if it's got one, drop it in. Can you do a course like counselling, even if it's not what your business is doing?
Okay,
No,
so
traineeship money, but you could use the money.
Yeah, so not with your traineeship money, because that it has to show to be workplace jobs and workplace. So in a traineeship, it's like doing a course, but you've got to have workplace practical learning activities that you're doing as well. So in our case, you'll be working with company policies, procedures and systems, and it's very relevant to your workplace. So something like counselling, yes, great courses, and absolutely, fully on board with it, but you'll have to use this spare money, because your ASIN will go, right, how does that relate to the duties?
So you'll sign up one of your employees for a relevant course, and then you could use some of your surplus money from your wage subsidy and do whatever course you like.
Yes, whatever course you like, yes.
Okay, one more question from Anne. Good name. Could a general manager of 3 exercise studios apply? She has a COO and the owner to manage her.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, if she's existing, then she'd be looking at the safety and doing safety checks on all of those places.
Or if she's new, she could do leadership and
management. Yes, definitely.
Okay, I think that is all our questions. I think we are done.
Oh, Melanie, means we've got another joke.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, your turn.
Okay, so Anne has this theory that the way to get everybody to leave the webinar is to make the talent joke.
Oh, but I will to let you know, if you're only still new with sort of things, we're actually getting, because I put jokes onto at the end of my normal newsletters, and during the pandemic when people have been home, we've actually put out more jokes. And the really funny or sad part is, I actually get a lot of people write back and say, Anne, I really look forward to your jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
it's a bit of an ongoing thing between Anne and her husband, who and Shane runs the training side, and he's the sensible one, and he's like, why do you put these jokes on? So she collects evidence that people like them.
I do, I send them everyone, because I got this great email back from Vera this week to say, Anne, I've just so much loved your jokes in the newsletter, and I look forward to them, and please send me some more.
So let's see if anyone will okay, so I would like to use this one. I put a bet on a horse that had excellent breathing. We're in the theme of Melbourne Cup again. After the horse left the starting gate, he stopped and closed it behind him.
Oh no, so let's hope that none of your horses do that this afternoon, that they actually do keep going. Not that Melanie and I have any idea about horse racing or what horses are running or anything. But
nice hat.
If the horses are, so where do horses go when they're sick? They go to the hospital.
Okay, now let's see if I can clear the room. A pony went to the doctor complaining about having a sore throat. The doctor went, it's okay, you're just a little horse.
All right, no, looking forward to talking to everyone individually, and really looking forward to working with your employees and people as with students with us. So have a great day. If you are going out for lunch, remember your hat and have fun.
Bye everybody.
Bye everyone.